Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Vibinestategems. I am Lola G, and I appreciate you being here. So I've been sitting in my studio just going through jewelry and listing things. And I went on Whatnot for a minute. And again, there were so many people, new people. And I'm just like, who? They don't have very many followers. They have stuff. A lot of people get out there that they source from. I'm going to give you a source. They source from Alibaba, or Ali as it's called. I like to source for them from weddings. I get my little bags from there. I don't source jewelry from them. I don't trust them. Their sterling isn't sterling. It's plated. It's plated. That's not the real thing. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I sourced a ring just because I thought it was pretty. And here it is. Here's the ring. That is sterling. That is sterling. I tested it, and that is a sterling ring. But I also got some other ones, two other ones, that said they were sterling. They were plated. They weren't sterling. So you kind of have to be careful, but there's a lot of people out there on Whatnot selling that. But today we're going to talk about Goodwill. Goodwill is not what it was even 5 years ago, before 2020. Shocker. Goodwill is out there watching YouTube just like we do. They are out there going, oh, there's a new, somebody's figured X out. Okay, well, we got to pull that. So let's say this. You've got a whole bunch of jewelry. Grandma passed away, bless her, and she donated her jewelry to you. And you're a young person, or you're just a busy professional like me, and you're like, I just happen to know because I know. And you think, okay, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Just donate it. Okay. So they're going to take your donation, and it's never going to see the sales floor. In some states, it may. In North Carolina, it never will. It never sees the sales floor in North Carolina. They immediately take the jewelry. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be paparazzi jewelry, and they lot that up, and they sell it for thousands of dollars. And what fascinates me is that people, like, I just sold 20 pounds of jewelry. I had just amassed so much, and I'd gotten a jewelry box for free. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? And so I put this huge lot together. It included sterling. It had gold filled. It was really good. And I sold it for $250. It was a $600-800 lot that would have brought you money over that. So $2,000 to $3,000 over that. So I ate it on that. And the lady's like, I'm sourcing from you. And I'm like, I don't think people ought to be telling me that. But we all do it with each other. So we source from one another. For me, I'm not sourcing the good stuff. I just want stuff to fill my grandma lots with. My grandma lots are good though. I get a lot of good feedback about my grandma lots because I have been blessed in the past to pick things up at pennies on the dollar, buy low, sell high, or buy low and sell at a good price. I want people to be able to get a deal, and you're not going to get a deal from Goodwill. I've gone in the Goodwill store here in town and seen ripped, torn, stained t-shirts for $8, $9, $10. And I'm just looking at it going, that's a rag. That's not something you could dress your kids with. And little kids' clothes, just dirty and gross. And they pull the Oshkosh. They pull the things that would bring them more money and put them online. And I just think that's heinous. They have a black book, for those of you who don't know, and they have a black book of brands. So Zara, definitely high-end. So Givenchy, Yves Saint Laurent, Chanel, Dior, none of that's going to make that to the sales floor. Hermes, none of that. Whatever you donate there, if you accidentally donate something like that, they have authenticators that will authenticate a coach, because there's a lot of scotch out there. We used to call it scotch, scam coach. When I worked in retail for a really long time, I was a GM for a high-end luxury retail. And then I was a sales manager at one place that I just hate. I won't shop there to this day. I hate them. They went under, so not surprising the way they treated their people. And then I had one that I worked at that I loved and still shop there. So I did that for a really long time before I went on to do music and other things. But, Goodwill has really just lost their mind. They've just lost their mind with the way that they treat people. Their CFO makes millions and millions of dollars, and none of that's bad. So does the person from Dillard. So does Belk. The thing that is inappropriate, in my opinion, is the lack of transparency. They act like they do so much for the community. They don't. You know who does? Salvation Army. Salvation Army does do a lot for the community. They feed people. They really do. Here in North Carolina, they have soup kitchens. They feed people. They help the homeless. They do a lot of provisional things for people. Goodwill doesn't do that. They have some training that they do. They hire people that maybe couldn't get a job elsewhere. And that's about all they do. And then they don't pay those people, in my opinion, a great wage. And the stores vary as far as shopability. They often smell bad. They often aren't clean because the people that they're hiring don't really take the pride in cleaning and maintaining it. There are people that go to those Goodwill bins in Winston and will hardcore. I don't know what they're finding, but all I've ever found there is just a mess. I've never purchased anything from there. I've gone at least 6 times, and on those 6, and I won't go anymore. There's never jewelry there. Not even a bead. You won't find it. They treat people badly when you go in there. I had a guy yell at me one day just because I was standing there. He put a bin over. You weren't supposed to touch the bin until he told you. I'm like, nah, bro. No, I can go and do an estate sale. I can do a lot of things. I'm not going to stand here with people and do that. And the sad thing was there was a woman in there and she was shopping for clothes. She was Latino and she spoke English. And I said, are you a reseller? She said, oh no, I buy from my family. She said, it's hard to buy because Goodwill is so expensive. And I'm like, you're right. Holler, sis, you're right. And that's sad. Goodwill is so expensive. Now, let's just break that down for a second. Does Goodwill have overhead costs? You know what the most expensive thing is in a store besides paying your people and keeping the lights on? Your overhead. Your investment on the product itself. Okay? And you want to make a tidy little profit on the product, right? They got free product. The product's free. So all they have to do is keep the lights on. And they're a non-for-profit. So they're a non-for-profit. So tax-wise, they're not having to pay the taxes that say, I went and opened some whatever business. I'm going to have to pay taxes on and all the things. They don't have to do that. They get non-for-profit status. But they are for profit. Don't get it twisted. They are for profit. And that needs to change. I don't think it's right that they're non-for-profit. What do they do for the community? In my community, they take. That's what they do. They do employ a handful of people. Maybe a few people get some jeans for their kids at school time. But this is school time, right? I drove by there the other day, and my son and I went into Planet Fitness because that's where our Planet Fitness is. That place should have been packed. I remember back before 2020, it was like, okay, let me back up. Back in 2006, when I was living in Texas, I remember school year, driving by Goodwill, OMG, packed. I remember a time here, that place around school time in August was packed. You couldn't get in there. There were so many people because they were using it to they have a lot of children for back to school, which totally makes sense. You get your backpack, you get your, some shoes. Now it's so picked over because the shoes, there are, Air Jordans in there. There's no Nike. And if they are, they're beat to Hades. They aren't nice. So I said to Blake, look at the Goodwill. There's nobody in there. He goes, yeah, isn't it school time? He even said it. And I was like, yeah, that's trippy. And nobody was in there. And now I'm not in every Goodwill in every state. I understand that there are Goodwills that still put jewelry out. North Carolina is not one of them. They all kind of do things a little bit differently, but they are all given a black book that says pull Zara, pull, Yves Saint Laurent, pull whatever. I've seen them pull stuff from Walmart and put it online. White Stag. I've looked at a White Stag t-shirt for $14.99. White Stag. Come on. It probably didn't even cost that retail. What's the other one? Time and True. That's another Walmart brand. You'll see that out on the website. Why isn't Time and True hanging in Goodwill? Because it should be. So anything that they can make a profit off of, that's what they're doing, off of free product that the community is providing to them. I'm not doing it. I hope you don't. Stop donating to Goodwill. Donate to Salvation Army. Donate to your local shelter. Those ladies are so happy to get anything, especially for kids. Don't give it to Goodwill. They don't deserve your stuff. They don't. They don't honor it. They don't give it to the people that need it. And yeah, I'm a picker and it used to be fun to go in and find something, but now I don't go in there for that. I don't even shop online anymore with them. You can't get good deals. And the thing that, like I said, that really bothers me is, like I told you, you know, this 20 pounds of jewelry, it was vintage to now. I just sold for $250, and she's going to take the time and list each thing. Well, I specialize, and I'm a little funny about what I'll list and what I won't. And I do all sterling and gold, and mostly, and I do some vintage, but it has to be kind of special for me to do it. So I don't do a lot of, like, if they gave me a big box of paparazzi jewelry, I would just throw it out in the lot. I have no desire to sell that. Unless it was really neat and like Southwesty looking, or something that is now that people are really buying, then maybe I would. But outside of that, I think I sold years ago, about 5 years ago, I sold a paparazzi cuff bracelet that had a big howlite stone. It was really pretty, and it was very Southwest, and Southwest just never goes out of style. People eat that up. They eat that up. And I sold that from paparazzi, and I got about 20 bucks out of it, 15, 20 bucks. So it wasn't, you know, it was an okay profit. But what I really want you to understand is that Goodwill is operating on a non-for-profit status. They are not having to buy product or source it the way, you know, Dillard's or Nordstrom's or Dollar General or Walmart or any other store is. They are completely donatable goods. Now, yes, they have to go through those donatable goods, but at the same time, it's free stuff. It's free stuff. And they're taking your free stuff in your community, and they do nothing but sell it and make a profit and pull the stuff out that you're donated. If I went and took a bunch of jewelry up there to my Goodwill here in town, my little Goodwill here in my tiny little town, and I live in a little town, and I took it up there, they're going to take that jewelry and they're going to put it online. It's not ever going to see the store. It's not ever going to see the store. And they'll take a pair of earrings. Let's see. They take a little ring like this. This is a beautiful little vintage Claude ring. And they put $50 on that, or $60. It is signed. Maybe I would too. That's our retail price. Why are you doing that? You know? Now, people can ask whatever they want. They do on Whatnot. I just saw an Anne Klein necklace in somebody's, $325 for Anne Klein. They're still selling Anne Klein. It wasn't vintage. It wasn't interesting. Anne Klein doesn't command a high profit. I went and looked it up on eBay, $12. $12. I was like, honey, oh, her prices were insane. I'm like, for costume jewelry. I was like, my friend Tanya is selling stuff that's vintage and quality for pennies on the dollar in comparison. I'm like, no one was buying anything, and like, you're not gonna make it, honey. Because people out there out in Whatnot land, they want to get something for nothing. True story. You know, there are people out there that command high prices for things and get it because they've been out there a long time and they've gotten a group of people. I've stopped Whatnot mostly just because of things that are going on in my life, and it was a grind, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It was a great experience. I don't have anything to complain about. Made some nice acquaintances. Still shop on there. Still will continue to shop on there. But right now, I've pulled back to just eBay. But I still love the game. I still love to, had a friend of mine give me a bunch of their vintage grandma jewelry, and they were going to throw it away. They were going to go donate it to, what? Goodwill. Oh my gosh, they're going to donate to Goodwill. I'm like, no, bring it to me and we'll evaluate it. And I'm glad we did. We found gold. We found sterling. It was a lot of grandma crystals, rhinestones, old stuff. And I really didn't know, you don't know. And she's received quite a bit of money. She's a teacher, and this summer that sure helped her out a lot. So I was really grateful to be able to do that for them. They're my friends. There's still some things out there that are for sale, and she had one of the things I really want to show you guys because it's so cool. That was a 14 karat gold necklace that just went flying. Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out. So I want to show you a couple of the things that she brought to me, and I think you'll think it's really neat. The first one is this Victorian. This is actually sterling. It's 800 silver though. It's a brooch transfer pin. Look at that. Oh, it's so cute. And this is a gilding that's around. It's supposed to be gold in silver, which is weird. I'm going to rotate it now. And then there's your C-clasp, and this is hanging out over here, which dates it, because when the pin pokes past the C-clasp, apparently it's really old. And then there's your bail to wear it around your neck. I would wear it at the throat. I just think that's so cool. About the size of a quarter. Look, oh, she's so charming. Let them eat cake. Okay. She doesn't want any cake. So that's out there for her. I've separated their stuff from mine, so that's their sale. This was really cool, and don't ask me to tell you what it is, because I did the research and it's out there on my eBay, but I couldn't tell you now. And I was like, what on earth? But this is sterling and the little copper lady, and it's called something. And it's very special. It's old. And then there's the back of it in copper. It's stunning. It's a great big old mama. Look at that. That's cool. Now I would put this on like a big heavy sterling chunky and then layer it. It's not my style though. It's not my style. Then this was really neat. And when I did, this is gold filled. And it's 10 karat gold filled lavalier here. It's adjustable. And it's like a lariat. Wait till you see this. This is just photobotol. It's photobotol. Look at this. And then we're going to finish witching about Goodwill. Okay, stop that. Stop that. Okay, there. Now, you see the fire and the... Oh, look at it. It's really showing off. Those are real opals. Those are real opals. Now, how do you know? Opals are sometimes hard to tell by if you don't know what you're doing. And you can do a pin test, but it ruins the stone. Or you can take it to a jeweler. But there are lines. Do you see the fire here? So fire, it almost looks like in a faux stone. It looks like somebody put little glitter pieces in the stone. You can tell that it's fake. You can just tell that it's fake. I see people all the time on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, whatnot, selling faux opal for the real thing. This, see all that fire? It isn't uniform. This is blue fire. This is green fire. Also, they're all different. Faux stones, all the same. They'll all be the same. Whereas these are the real deal. In fact, I thought about keeping this piece and giving him the money for it and picking the stones out and making my own, because these are Australian opals. So then when I did the research, sure enough, these are the real deal. So back in the day, you know, these were gold filled. This is gold filled. Look at it. Isn't it a stunner? I mean, come on. Look at that. It's so pretty. Jewelry back in the 70s and the 60s and the 80s was just so well made. I always think I want to time travel and go back to that time, right? I'm going to time travel and go take all the jewelry. That's what I'm going to do. I just think that's the coolest thing ever. Probably because it's my birthstone. Maybe that's it. And then there was a bunch of, I don't have the grandma stuff. There was a bunch, but this is a really cool piece. This is John Chris. This is 12 karat gold filled. These are real turquoise. And it's never been worn. This is from the 50s, y'all, or the 60s. This is from the 60s. Look at where we are. It's 2026. This is such a great price. Now, see, if this was on Goodwill, this thing would go for $300 or $400. Same with this. People would command horrendous prices. One of the things that always blows me away with Goodwill, too, is you'll have a jewelry lot like what I just sold at 20 pounds. That would have gone for $3,000 to $4,000 on Goodwill because they command it. And then I'm like, okay, well, you can't make your money back on that. What are you doing with it? I wonder what they're doing with it. Don't you? I think, gosh, you know, I did drop $1,200 once on a big sterling lot. It was huge. And that was worth it. It was precious metal. It had gemstones in it. It had a lot of stuff in it. It was worth it. It was. I got my money back and then times like 4. Back then you could get it. But now something like that, a small parcel. So let's say you've got 4 rings, 4, 5, 6 necklaces, a bracelet. That's going to be between $300 and $400 when you used to pick it up for $40 or $50. Not anymore. It's like people get in this bidding war and they have this weird bidding mentality and they're, oh, I've got more money than you. And I'm like, yeah, well, you made, but not really, because you're out your money. And then I wonder who's buying that. I'd really like to know who's spending $3,000 and $4,000 on 10 pounds of vintage jewelry that there isn't anything. I mean, I can see by my own eye, there isn't even anything like what's there. It's just like Sarah Coventry and maybe some Coro, maybe some Listener, a lot of like rhinestoney type stuff. And I'm just blown away at the prices that it commands. And I mean, Goodwill's got to do what they got to do. And if they were a for-profit place, well, you know, you huff it, whatever. But they aren't. If they really did all of the things that they claim to do in the community, like feed the community, they didn't do shit for people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but I don't like them. I don't like them, clearly. I don't like what they did up in Northern Carolina when we had all the storms and things. Did they clothe people? No. Did they open up their stores and help people have clothes that had lost everything? No. But those people donated to that place. Sure did. Did they help? No. No, they didn't. Did they do a food drive? Did they offer bedding for people? No, they didn't do anything. I'm not a fan of Goodwill. I think that it needs to be changed to just Will or Bad Will or Ridiculous Will or Greedy Will. That'd be a good one. Greedy Will. That'd work, right? Or G Will. G for greed, because they're just freaking greedy. And I don't agree with that. Being a nonprofit and then being greedy like that, they need to stop being a nonprofit. They just do. I'll stop. Period at the end. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Because we looked at the purdies and I got happy again. And then I got mad again. Because every time I drive by them, I just want to go, I want to buck up at them like, you know, that's what I want to do. Goodwill. I'm glad that they employ people. And I'm glad that people have a job. I don't like the way they treat their people. I don't like the way they pay their people. I don't like them. Sam, I am. I don't like them in a fox or in a fox. Oh God, that's morbid. In a box with a fox. I don't like them. You do the research, read about what they do. And they try to keep it on the down low and keep themselves out of the press. But the truth of the matter is we're all out here as resellers and people who influence witching about it. Even Margaret, she's out here going, I don't like them either. And many of us don't. You know, once in a blue moon, you can go in. My buddy, Harry Tornado, he'll go in and be like, I found this in the bins. But he sells everything. And where he goes to bin is pretty good. But even he, you know, he'll be like, this is ridiculous. He has said it before. The prices that they command, the stuff that they do, the black book of pulling all the things out of there and making a profit. And to be a nonprofit and then you're pulling in that kind of money, that's shady. Let's just call it what it is. It's shady. It's shady. That's all I have to say. I've complained. You don't have to agree with me. You can agree to disagree. So we'll just end with something beautiful. Here's a purdy to make us happy. It's Rose de France Amethyst. And that's it for me because now I'm going to go eat pizza and that will make me happy. Bye, everybody.